Hello everybody, I'm Super Lucky and today I'm going to be making my MCC 34 predictions. Now before I start predicting, I want to give a fair warning that these predictions will be wrong as I do not know the outcome of every MCC, and this may be my third time predicting MCC team placements. So yeah, that's my fair warning, and now let's get to the predictions. In last place, we have the Pink Parrots, consisting of Bajan Canadian, Jerome ASF, Preston Plays, and Vic Star. Now, the reason why I put this team in last place is because of four main factors. First of all, I see this team as a for fun team. I'm not sure that this team is here to win it. I just think that they're here to have fun. This comes to my second reason, is that I do not see like a main PvPer on this team, meaning that they might struggle in games like Battle Box, Sky Battle, or maybe even survival games. That's why, because like none of these are like know how to PvP well. I don't want to be rude, but I just don't think that they have a main PvPer. But the only thing I can give them the doubt is that they have a lot of chemistry, because all four of these, you know, like Bajan Canadian, Jerome, Preston, and Vicstar, they've all been friends for years. So I think that they know how each of them work, and I think that they have really well chemistry. And now the last reason is because I think that they have little experience. They have little experience because Vicstar hasn't played season 3, and he hasn't played like a lot of games like Meltdown and Parkour Warrior. So yeah, and same goes for Preston, Jerome, and the Bajan Canadian, who does not know how to play any of these games. So yeah, I think that they might not have a lot of experience in MCC, so that's why I think that this team is in last place. Now, I'm going to try to predict their best strong game, which I really do not see any. Maybe like Sands of Time, or like maybe Parkour Tag. Maybe this is actually a good Parkour Tag team. Weak games, I think that they're for their weak games. I think that it's just everything to do with PvP and maybe Meltdown. In 9th place, we have the Orange Ocelots, consisting of Punz, Smallishbeans, CaptainSparklez, and KaraCorvus. Now, the reason why I put this team in 9th is because of four main factors. First of all, I do not see this team as a PvP team. I think that the best PvPer is Punz, so who knows, he might lead the team. And so second reason is because this team is one of the weaker teams of this MCC. As I said, I do not know, but I think that compared to the other MCC teams that we've seen today, or we've seen in this MCC, this might be considered one of the weaker teams. And so yeah, now I will give them two great factors of this team, is that this team has chemistry. Now, Punz and CaptainSparklez have teamed before, Captain great friends with Kara, so they have a lot of chemistry. Smallishbeans is, a goated player on every single team he is on. And so yeah, this team has a lot of chemistry. And the next main factor is that this team has lots of experience. This team has like played many MCCs, so they should know the basic ins and outs of MCC, and hopefully that should earn them, maybe, I don't know, I'm just gonna say that they earn like somewhere from bottom 5, I think, sadly. Now, I'm going to predict Orange strongest games and weakest games. So I think for Orange, their strongest game might be Rocket Speed Rush and Meltdown. And for their weak games, I think it's going to be Sky Battle and Battle Box. And so yeah, that's the Orange team for you. In 7th place, we have the Yellow Yaks, consisting of Antfrost, Ryguyrocky, BadBoyHalo, and Skeppy. Now, the reason why I put this team in 8th is because of four main factors. The first being that they're kind of a PvP team. Antfrost is like a great PvPer, Ryga isn't half bad, and Skeppy and BadBoyHalo can pull their own weight in terms of PvP. Now, the second factor is that they are kind of a weak team. Statistically, they're kind of a weaker team, but I see great potential in this team. But for now, I put them in 8th because I have no other place to put them. Now, third factor is that they have knowledge. Antfrost being like great at MCC, knows a lot about the games and whatnot and how they function, so that's gonna help their team a lot. But I'm just saying that, like, BadBoyHalo and Skeppy don't play in many MCCs, so sometimes they're just like, clueless. Which Antfrost comes in and to help them, make sure that they're all focused up. And the last factor is that they have some experience. Like, I know, like, these players, like, I mean, Antfrost usually plays a lot of MCC, but like Ryguyrocky, BadBoyHalo, and Skeppy, they play occasionally, which is fine. But I think that sometimes they lack a little experience, which is fine. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna place them in 8th place. Now, I'm going to try to predict Yellow strong games and their weakest games. So for their strongest games, I think it's gonna be Sky Battle and Battle Box, while their weakest games might be Rocket Spleef Rush and Meltdown. In 7th place, we have the Green Geckos, consisting of Purpled, Tubbo, Aimsey, and Guqqie. Now, the reason why I put this team in 7th is because of 4 main factors again. The first factor is that this team is kind of a PvP team, as Purpled is a pretty good PvPer, Tubbo is a little bit above average, Guqqie and Aimsey are both average for PvP wise, and so yeah. Now, the second factor is Purpled is the GOAT. Purpled is the GOAT of MCC, and he usually places around the top 5, which is amazing as a player. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they get above 7th. But I just have to put this team in 7th because I think that there are some stronger MCC teams than this one. Alright, so the third factor is that they have chemistry. They have chemistry as, you know, Guqqie and Aimsey like both know each other so well that they know like how each other play. Tubbo and Purple, you know, they know each other, so hopefully they should know how they interact and how one does better than the other. And so yeah, my last factor is that this team is an all-round team. I do not see any player that is like really bad. Like Purple being, you know, the GOAT. Tubbo is a really good player, usually placing around the top 15, top 20. Both Guqqie and Aimsey, I think they can place like around top 20, like maybe top 20 this MCC. So yeah. Now, I'm going to try to predict the best games and worst games for this team. And so I think that the best games for this team is Sky Battle and maybe Battle Box, because I think that those are the games that all these players really good at. And yeah, I don't see any weak games except for like maybe Sands of Time and who knows, Parkour Tag, because I don't see this team as a great Parkour Tag. So yeah, that's the green team. In 6th place, we have the Aqua Axolotls, consisting of Fruitberries, 5-Ups, Solidarity, and Eret. Now, the reason why I put this team in 6th is because of 4 main factors. The first factor being that they are kind of a PvP team, as Fruitberries is one of the greatest PvPers in MCC. 5-Ups is pretty good at PvP. Solidarity is a little bit on average, and Eret is kind of like a little bit below average. But that's fine because the rest of their team should be good on PvP. And now the second reason is leadership, as you know, Fruitberries and 5-Ups is definitely one of the greater leaders that you could have on a team. I can definitely see Fruitberries being the leader for PvP games and 5-Ups being the leader for like communication games. And so yeah, that leads me to the third one, is that they have knowledge. 5-Ups is probably one of the like greatest players you could have for knowledge. That is because they definitely VOD review a lot. Fruitberries also because they have a lot of experience in MCC. And so yeah, that's the same thing as reason number 4, is that they have really good comms. 5-Ups, probably one of the greatest people who can do communications for your team. Fruitberries also. But yeah, that's basically Aqua team. Now, I'm going to try to predict the strongest game for the Aqua Axolotls. So in this case, I think that their strongest game is probably Sky Battle, as Fruit is always a menace in Sky Battle. And I think their second strongest game is probably Grid Runners, due to 5-Up and his communication and his knowledge of pretty much every Grid Runners room. And so yeah, I think the weakest game for this team, I think that it's probably somewhere between like Parkour Tag, because I don't see this as a good Parkour Tag team. So I think they want to try to avoid that as soon as possible. And I think that Parkour Warrior might be a struggle for this team. Next, in number 5, is the Blue Bats, consisting of Gemini Tay, JoJo Solos, Smager, and Orion Sound. Now, the reason why I put this team in 5th is because of 4 main factors. First factor is I think that this team is a PvP team, as JoJo is a great PvPer, Gemini Tay is like a really decent PvPer, Smager can do really well, and Orion Sound isn't that bad of a PvPer. And so yeah. Okay, so now the second reason is because they have great communication. I think that this team overall has really good communication, as I think they all should know each other by now, slash friends, which brings us to number 3, that they have chemistry, as they've, played with each other before, I'm pretty sure, so they should know the works, ins and outs of each other, and yeah. Alright, so our 4th factor is that I think that this team is an all-around team. I do not see a single person who's like really bad. I think that they all can probably get like top 20, and I'm not going to be surprised if they reach somewhere more than 5th. But overall, I'm just going to have to give them 5th because I'm pretty sure that there's somewhat of a stronger MCC teams in this. So yeah, that's the Blue Bats. Now, I'm going to try to predict the strongest games and weakest games for the Blue Bats. And that being said, I think that, honestly, I think that they could do pretty well in like games like Rocket Spleef, maybe Sands of Time. And I think probably Battle Box is probably a good game for them. And for their weakest games, I'm going to say maybe Parkour Tag. I mean, I kind of don't see much teams as a Parkour Tag team. And I think maybe Sky Battle might be a struggle for them, so I think they should avoid that as long as they can. So yeah, that's the Blue Bats. In 4th place, we have the Red Rabbits, consisting of FireBreathMan, Ranboo, Michealmcchill, and Shubble. Now, the reason why I put this team in 4th place is because of 4 main factors. The first factor is that they're kind of a PvP team. FireBreathMan's pretty good at PvP. Ranboo is also decent at PvP. Michealmcchill and Shubble are both pretty average on PvP. And so the second reason why is because of leadership. I see FireBreathMan as probably one of the greater leaders in MCC. I'm sure he can definitely help this team get to like top half. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get like somewhere above 4th. And the third reason is they have fun vibes, as FireBreathMan and Ranboo, just they funny people, and they have so many great vibes. And the last reason is comms, as they have great communication, because I think that they should have great communication, even though I think they might not know each other too much. So yeah, that's the Red Rabbits. Now I'm going to try to predict the Red Rabbits' strongest games and weakest games. So for the strongest games, I think it's going to be Sky Battle and Sands of Time. For their weak games, I could see them struggling in the Grid Runners and survival games if it's in the rotation. So yeah, that's the Red Rabbits for you. In 3rd place, we have the Lime Llamas, consisting of PeteZahHutt, Hannahxrose, Awesamdude, and vGumiho. Now, the reason why I put the Lime Llamas in 3rd is because of 4 main factors. First factor is that they are a PvP team, at least I would consider it, as Pete and Hannah are pretty good PvPers. Awesamdude is like average, and Gumi I think can do well in PvP. And so the second reason I think that they get 3rd is because of the Pete and Hannah duo. I think that this is a strong duo. As PeteZahHutt gets like top 10 every MCC. Hannah is a good player, and I would say that they would get like top 10 this MCC. And so the third factor is comms. I think that this is a great communication team, as Sam actually gives the best comms I think out of all of MCC, which is really cool. And so the fourth factor that I decided was that this is an all-around team, as I do not see any weak players on this team. Like Pete, the GOAT, Hannah is a really good player. Awesamdude does top 20. I think vGumiho can get top 25. So yeah, I don't see a bad player on this team. And so yeah, that's the Lime Llamas. Now I'm going to be trying to predict the Lime Llamas' strongest games and the weakest games. So for the strongest games, I have 3 of them, which is Rocket Spleef Rush, Survival Games, and Battle Box. I think that all those games can do pretty well, as they average pretty high on all of them. For their weak games, the only weak game that comes to mind is Build Mart. I think that this team might struggle in Build Mart, so they probably want to get it out the way first, or just not play it at all. In second place, we have the Purple Pandas, consisting of Illumina, Wallyberry, In the Littlewood, and Good Times to Score. Now, the reason why I put the Purple Pandas in second place is because of 4 main factors. First being is that they are a PvP team, because Illumina, Wallyberry are pretty good at PvP, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would want PvP games late. Martin and Littlewood, it's a really pretty good PvP, decent actually. Good Time to Scar is a little bit below an average on PvP wise, but that should be fine. With the rest of his team, he shouldn't have to worry about PvP games. Now the second reason is leadership, as you know, Illumina or Wallybear might take leadership over all games. That's okay, because I think that these two people are pretty good leaders, and I think that they will lead their team to a dodgeball. And the third reason is that they have fun vibes. I generally think that this team has fun vibes, as you know, like Good Times with Scar, and the Littlewood, and Illumina. I think they should know each other at least. Wallybear is, you know, a pretty good guy, pretty cool guy. So yeah, I think they'll have fun vibes. And the last reason is because of the Wally and Illumina duo. I think that the Wally and Illumina duo is pretty strong, because I genuinely think that these two players can get top 10. And in, you know, Martin in the Littlewood, I think he could get top 15, because as every MCC, he shows that he is improving, and we'll see some of this on this MCC. Good Times with Scar is another person that I think is a great support player. I think he'll probably do like top 30 in this MCC. So yeah, I think overall this team will probably make dodgeball, and I'm not sure if they would win compared to the first place team. Now I'm going to try to predict the strongest games and the weakest games for the Purple Pandas. For their strong games, I generally think that they are a parkour tag team. I know that this may seem weird, but I do think that they are a parkour tag team. Second of all, I think that they will do great at Sense of Time. And for their weak games, the two games that come to mind, I think, is Grid Runners and Build Mart. I know it's like weird, but I just think that they have to have a weak game somehow. In first place, we have the Cyan Coyotes, consisting of Sapnap, Shadoon, OllieGamerz, and RedVelvetCake. The reason why I put the Cyan Coyotes in first and winning dodgeball is because, first of all, they are a PvP team. Sapnap and Shadoon and OllieGamerz are really good PvPers. RedVelvetCake is no exception as well, because he's really good at PvP. Sapnap is the GOAT because he never leaves the top 10 every MCC, so that's pretty good. Third reason is it's a strong team, which also brings me to my fourth reason, is that there is no weak player on this team. This team is made up of people who I can assume get top 20, maybe top 15 if they try really hard. But yeah, there's no weak players in sight. RedVelvetCake, you know, is always improving. So it just shows that this team is really good, and I think this team wins MCC. Now I'm going to try to predict the strongest games for the Cyan Coyotes and also the weak games. So for the strong games, I think that it's just basically every single PvP game, like Sky Battle, Battle Box, and survival games. Their weakest games is probably Build Mart and maybe Sands of Time. So yeah, that's the Cyan Coyotes. Thank you everybody for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, just let me know. And if you do like it, then, you know, yeah, then you could always just like that like button. And so yeah, hope you have a good day, and those are my predictions. Don't get mad at them. Have a good day, and I'll see you all another time.